Greetings from Sabil, greetings from Jerusalem, everyone. We would like to welcome you again to a special Kumi session. This week, we will explore the topic of art and resistance. Just a reminder that this session is also being broadcasted live on Facebook, but is also being recorded. So if you don't like to have your face appear on YouTube or on Facebook, please turn off your camera feed. We always have excellent speakers at Kumi, and we try our best to always to have to invite special people with special stories. Today we're blessed to have Auntie Violette Khoury, who is an excellent speaker, and she is one of the pillars of Sabil. She is the one who has founded Sabil in Nazareth, and she has been an inspiration to many people around the world, but especially for me as Omar Harami. So we're very lucky today, and I'm very excited. Today is a very hot day. We're in the middle of a heat wave in Palestine and Israel. Degrees are almost 40 degrees Celsius, so it's extremely hot. But I hope everyone is having better weather wherever you are. And as it has been the tradition, we would like to ask Auntie Violette to introduce herself. So Auntie Violette, please introduce her. You are on mute, Auntie Violette. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Omar, for this nice and flattering introduction. And good day and good evening or good morning to everybody, wherever you are. It's very nice to meet again and to feel that all around the world, we share the same ideas and we feel we are the same community. So welcome to Kumi now, and thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today. Well, Omar, I am a simple woman from Nazareth, Violette Khoury. I born and lived in Nazareth. And since my childhood, I realized the problems and the suffering of our people, the Palestinian people, because I was 8 years old when Israel occupied Palestine. And I saw all the difficulties and the miseries of the displaced people who came to Nazareth. I identified myself with them. Then I finished my studies in my high school in Jaffa. And when I went to Jaffa in the 50s, I met the empty, big Palestinian city. And I was wondering, where are their inhabitants? And I realized how much our problem is hard and extended, because in Nazareth, I was in contact with the refugees. And in Jaffa, I was in contact with the empty houses and the destroyed houses. Then it was a period where we lived under military control, and we were separated from all the Palestinian community, wherever they were. We were ignored, and we were oppressed and suppressed even, and everybody lived in fear and under the shock of what happened to us. I had the opportunity to finish my studies, to go to the university in Rome, where I studied pharmacy. And there in Rome, I was 20 years old when I arrived. I discovered for the first time in my life what it means to live in peace, seeing peace, people living in peace. And I thought that peace is the normal way to live. So I have to commit my life to work for peace. In our case, peace cannot come unless there is justice. So I committed myself to work for justice and peace. And the second thing that I realized when I was outside is that I was free to be myself. I thought what freedom is not to be afraid from the others, because we lived under control, under not only military control, but also psychological control and oppression. We were lost. And I realized that freedom is a gift from God, that I have to struggle for it. There is no life without freedom, and commit myself to work for freedom. And freedom cannot come if there is no truth, because I realized how much our truth, the reality of our living, the reality of our history has been so manipulated and disturbed and destroyed. So we have, first of all, to know the truth, the reality, not to be afraid of the truth, and to struggle for it, and to keep our awareness, and to keep our acknowledgement of what we are and who we are. So when I came back, I worked for 47 years in Nazareth as a pharmacist, and I had my own pharmacy, my private pharmacy. And that was an opportunity for me to meet so many people from all categories, all ages. In a pharmacy, you meet all kinds of people, and to hear their stories. And I saw that my story is identical to any other story. So I represent one of the grassroots people here, but I cannot be accommodate myself to work for my job and my family only. I realize that I have a duty towards my community, because, and I finish with that, my introduction, because my community and my society where we live is the only basis that we have left as a Palestinian, Christian, Arab, Israeli citizen, submitted to so many discriminations and to so many difficulties and difficult works. The only thing that we have to cradle us, to protect us, is to have a solid, cooperative, and cohesive community, Palestinian community, aware of our presence, but aware of our relation and our belonging to the land. So that's why I found Sabil, my way to give my part, to share my part to my community as much as I could do. And now with Nasijona. Thank you, Omar.
Thank you, Auntie Violette. I want to say that it is during 2020, Sabil started to work with the Guides Union. Did alternative lectures about things that people need to learn about. And there's around 600 guides, Palestinian registered guides inside Israel and the Palestinian Authority. And we've invited Violette Khoury to be one of the speakers during these sessions. And on that event, we had over 250, which was like a record. So it's the guides of Palestine all came together just to get a chance to listen to Auntie Violette. She meets thousands of people every year, pilgrims from around the world. But enough with introductions, we need to cover the topic of art and resistance. So there's a beautiful video, short clip that was made about Nasijona, and we're going to ask Ryan to share it. So it's a very short clip, and then we will jump into today's session.
Nasijona Nazareth is a new organization that started 3 years ago. We found that we had the necessity to save our heritage, to promote our work of heritage, and to develop it in order to give it to the new generations, because we found that we were losing our identity, losing our heritage in Nazareth, and losing so many precious things that we had. And above all, we were losing our social structure, the harmony of the social structure. In this center, we are doing special works. The very special work that in Galilee and in Nazareth especially, our women have been doing are the needlework, and which we call tape, and another work which is called oya. Those are our specialties. We found that we could save them we found the last 2 ladies who could do that work in Nazareth. They are in their 80s. We brought them to the center, and they started giving that traditional work to the newer generations. And we developed it, and we started having now a production of those artistic and heritage work and traditional works in a new modern aspect.
أنا بعرف أشغال تقريبا كل الأشغال. عاد حسيت إنه أنا هذا الإشي اللي معاي لازم أنطيه لغيري. عاد مش هيك عمال أعلم وبرغبة وبصدق عم بعلم اللي بيجوا يتعلموا. بحب إنهم يطلعوا متعلمات وفهمات الشغل على أصوله.
جارتنا أحلى جارة. تسلم يا حبيبي، تسلمي والله. جيران الرضا. هاي القطبة زي المكوك،
بس اللي عملتها اليوم حتى ام اسعد قالت عنها بتجنن.
حلو.
هون احطها يعني هون؟
خليها هذا هيك.
هذا الخيط؟
هيك. نشتغلوا أختي، لفيها وأساس أختي.
There are women who cannot work, but they come here and they sit and they read poetries to those women who are working and communicating together. It became a kind of communication for everybody.
بصير في بيناتنا علاقة صداقة، بصيروا يبعثوا لي ايش هن بيعرفوا، ايش عملوا، بيستشيروني، وانا كمان ببعث لهم اشياء ثانية. يعني فصار اشياء خارج عن نسيجنا، صار في علاقات صداقة وشغل بينات بعض.
صرت اجي على هالمحل هذا واشوف كل النساء قاعدين بيشتغلوا، كلهم بتخرفوا، كل واحدة شغلها بايدها وبنفس الوقت عم تتحدث. اشي بحدث عن ايام زمان، اشي بحدث عن كيف كنا انواع الاكل اللي كنا نعملها، مثلا يعيدوا الطبخات القديمة اللي كانت اهل الناصرة يعملوها.
بنزلهاش كتير على السطر، بخليهاش اتصال، وبجيب شحطة هيك مايلة طلعوا. هاي العين. أنا بعتقد هذا عمل رائع وجبار للجيل الجديد اللي عمالنا بنفقد كتير من تراثنا ومن حضارتنا ومن انتمائنا من خلال الأشغال اليدوية، التطريز، دورة الخط العربي. يعني هاي الاهتمامات هي ممتازة للجيل الجديد عشان كمان هو يوعى لانتمائه. يعني دورة الخط العربي هي مش بس رسم الأحرف، لأنه الخط العربي واللغة العربية هي جزء من مكونات هويتنا الفلسطينية، وهذا المكون أساسي في ارتباطنا بشعبنا وارتباطنا ببلدنا وارتباطنا بحضارتنا وارتباطنا بتاريخنا وبمستقبلنا.
هسه وين بدنا نقول؟ بعد قطبة واحدة بعدين ننقل على الثانية.
احنا كان في حلم عنا انه نعمل نسيجنا بالمواصفات هاي اللي احنا 1 2 3 بدنا اياها، لكن كنا نفكر انه هذا حلم. لكن لما بلشت الطابة تدحل صرنا نلاقي انه لا، اكثر من توقعاتنا. يعني
For Nasijona, the plan is to continue. Maybe we need to have a larger place, and we need anyone who wants to support Nazareth, the existence of a beautiful, harmonious society in Nazareth, and anyone who wants to help Nazareth and to give back to Nazareth its real value is welcome to help us.
That was beautiful, Auntie Violette. I want to ask you, what does Nasijona mean in English for the people who do not speak Arabic?
Okay, thank you first. And this video is a little bit old now. I said it was 3 years ago. It was made in 2017. And at the very beginning of the work of Nasijona, but now it is much more, we reach the whole community, all ages, all socioeconomical people, categories, and all cultural economies. So Nasijona is actually a place, a home place for everybody. Each one feels that he is at home and finds himself. So Nasijona is the Arab word for our texture, because we are using the texture, the work of the needlework and the texture in order to preserve and to save the harmony of the social structure and the social texture, because this is what we need. And if we are concerned about it, we were concerned, we are a group, when I started thinking that in the last decades, 2 decades, in the 2000s, the Palestinian Arab citizens or societies in Israel, especially in Nazareth, which is the largest agglomeration of the Palestinians here, we started living a kind of deterioration and auto-destruction. It was an induced effect to destroy our social structure and our society by introducing anti-fanatic ideas and by applying the rule divide to win. And it was very easy to make that, to change that cooperative and cohesive society into a small disintegrated parts that we became like enemies one to another, a process of self-destruction or auto-destruction. It was very hard for us to live that. And we were awareness, a group of the grassroots people, we were aware that we have to do something in order to bring back our harmony of the social structure. Otherwise, we will destroy each other and do the work for them. And even the Palestinians started feeling that we're separated from all the other Palestinians, as if we were a part, something that does not know where it is, a lost identity. I have also to mention that our children in the class, school curricula, they have no access, they don't study their history, their geography, they don't even mention from where they come. So they grow up with no knowledge about their origin, their people, their history, and their belonging. And this will, it takes us, it took me to far away in the early 50s and 40s, where we used as young people here to hear about the Palestinians. We have been told your problem will be solved by forgetting. It means that the old people will die and the new generation will not know. So you will forget your history and your presence and your relation. And that's why, so as Palestinians, you do not exist. So we had to confront this and to find the way how to bring back and to leave the link of the society, the link of the Palestinian society together in a nice and healthy way. So my opinion was, and it was just by a special event that happened in the pharmacy when one of my clients, one of those women you've seen in the film, entered to the pharmacy and told me that she was the last woman who could do the work, the artistic work of that needlework that we call the tape. And she told me, when I die, this will be extended forever. So I felt so bad, and it hit me deeply in the heart, even though I never worked and practiced that work. And I immediately realized that heritage and tradition is part of our identity. And heritage and tradition, and especially traditional arts and popular arts, are deeply rooted into our hearts. And that this can be a common denominator for every Palestinian, that around it we can bring people to sit, to meet, away from all the prejudice, away from all the indoctrinations, and to find their human contacts. And this is what happened. Based on that, we founded Nasijona. That's why we told around the Nasij, the texture weaving, Nasij weaving the texture, we can weave our social structure. And it succeeded very well, as you saw in the film. But by now, we expanded our work much higher. We reached the new generations. At Nasijona, we reached the generation from the age 6 till age 86. And we made the gap, the bridge between the generations, so that the new generation, the young people, can hear the stories and the memories of the older generation and reconstruct their history, a kind of oral history. That's why also we give a course of how to document the oral history, because this is all what we have left, is the memory. And so you have to document it and to conserve the memory and to pass it to the new generations, let them know who they are, where they come from, and let them live peacefully and proudly on their land, not accept to be second, third class citizens.
Thank you very much. People who have been asking for the link video, we have shared it on in the chat, but we will also be sending a list in the email, the follow-up email for everybody who has registered to this session and who are part of the Kumi list. We will be sending you the website of Nasijona and their contact information, especially the video that we have seen. And there's a more updated video, some friends are saying. You've mentioned Nazareth, you want to maintain the social fabric. A number of years ago, unfortunately, there were crises in Nazareth where the social fabric was disturbed, especially with the building of for people who were advocating for the building of a mosque next to the church, and violence erupted in this city. How easily is it to disturb the social fabric, and how difficult is it to mend it?
Okay, this happened. I think it was studied and introduced to us, because I know very well the Nazarene and the Galilean community. We used to be a very harmonious and collaborate and cooperating together. And as I told you, when we had more than 40% of the population, I don't know exactly, of the Palestinians inside Israel were internally displaced people. They were refugees. They had no other means to overcome and to survive other than the social help and the social harmony that they lived in. The laws were all against us. We were under discrimination, occupation, lost. They had no help from anywhere in the world. But I remember, and we all cooperated together in order to let them overcome the difficulties and to be reintegrated and established in Nazareth and find housing and that feeling of a harmonious and cooperative and cohesive society. This is what gave to Nazareth its importance as the headquarters of the capital of the Palestinians, Israeli citizens. And if you go back to the 70s and 80s, and when they defended the confiscation of the lands, and they declared Land Day on March 30th, and everything was done, came out from Nazareth together. And if you remember also when the Nazareth municipality was doing summer work camps, where Palestinians came from all over to work together and to stay together. So this was something that that they had that should be destroyed and dispersed. And the whole story of the mosque in front of the basilica was exactly an illusion. And I know very well that because I am very well placed. My pharmacy was just next to that place. And unfortunately, I have been 5 times vandalized in my pharmacy as a Christian. And but I knew that it did not come. It came because it was planned and it was induced and it was using. That's why I decided that I have to do something to stop this vandalization, to stop this social this social disintegration, because believe me, when we were vandalized and we were in trouble, nobody asked us, nobody helped us, nobody took care of us. Everybody was, the media and everybody was talking about the mosque that did not exist and will not exist. And we know very well that that mosque was supposed to be on a territory that does not belong to the Waqf al-Islam. It belongs to the Israeli government. They will never give the land to build a mosque, but it was just to make a story and to make things grow up, and everybody in the world heard about it. And it was an illusion, but this illusion was introduced us in the head, and it made us become enemies. And that's why now with Nasijona, we are working, we are heading to forget all those things, because they did not come, they are not authentic from our belonging. They have been, they are induced ideas or prejudice or indoctrinations that they will repeat it and the people will repeat it. But I don't think that everybody believed it. So now we had to raise the voice of wisdom, the voice of the truth, and to restitute our communication together and restitute our harmony. And that's why using the popular arts and the work and the production of our heritage, we keep our identity and we find again our human relation, and we find that we don't have any other way than not only to accept each other, but we need each other, and we can live as we live always in total harmony. And this is what we are doing here. And we are introducing that to the new generations. And in the video you saw the women, but we have many men and academic people who work with us, because we have also not only handwork programs, but we introduce also cultural, artistic, and poetry. We deal about the writers' books and on an academic level to support and to maintain our harmony and know our heritage and our belonging. And that's why we also receive classes, children in their classroom, or our team will go to schools to give also some workshops. During the handwork, we call it in Arabic, شغل وحكاية, a work and a story, telling the story. So while they work the tape or the embroidery or the weaving the straw or anything, and we have a course of jewelry, anything, they tell the story about it, that where it comes from and where it and how they used it. So they relate the children to their past and to their community and to their history and to their land. And I can mention the feedbacks that we hear from the children are really encouraging, such as when a child would say, I came to Nasijona glad, but I am leaving happy. I came glad because it was a day that I'm spending outside the classroom and we'll have fun. But now here I discovered that I belong to a people. I discovered that I am Palestinian, and I discovered that I have a heritage, and that makes me very happy. I want to continue, and I know who I am. And things like that. We even put them, let them hear Mawtini, and you should see how they react with this and how they start hearing the stories and asking the old women about their memories, about their life, and about and all that, because in the schools, this is not allowed at all to talk about it. We had the summer camps, and I have here to mention that we have been funded also by Ta'awun, the Welfare Association. Thank them for allowing us to make to help 2 summer camps where we were supposed to have 30 children in every summer camp, but we arrived up to 44 in each one. And the children spent wonderful time and discovered their origin. And the feedbacks that we heard last week were so encouraging. And we finished with a puppet theater from Masrah al-Siri about accepting the other and being together. And all the children went out with this idea: we have to be one, and we have to be to conserve our identity and our belonging to each other. Otherwise, we will be lost forever.
Do the schools cooperate with Nasijona? I mean, since you have
yes.
And which schools?
Not only private schools, but also public schools cooperate. Many public schools cooperated with us, and they are still cooperating and asking us to do that work for them. And they even are inviting the team, the training team of the women, to go and give workshops there in a Heritage Day or something. But mostly they love to come to Nasijona Center and have their experience a few hours of. Also, we received a group of guides. You mentioned the guides, the tour guides. They came, and now we have even some guides who are asking us to bring their group to let them be in touch with the Palestinian heritage and do something and hear the stories of the people. And we receive also many groups by now. Last week we had an Italian group, and they sent me one of them sent me a poetry in Italian. I will send it to you because I asked him, I wanted to mention it, but just now I received his agreement that I can share it or translate it. It's really beautiful. I will send it to you, and maybe we can put it on the list.
Yes, we will happily forward it to the list. Do you also work with the villages and the cities inside Israel, a part of only the community in Nazareth?
Oh, yes. We reached, I mean, many villages and many cities inside Israel heard about us. They came to visit us from the up north till the Negev, and mainly from Lidda, Ramli, the Triangle, and Galilee, the whole Galilee, and even from Haifa, the Carmel. They visited us and they wanted to copy that idea. And I know that somebody tried, because one of the women who was with us tried to make a similar thing in her village in Galilee, and they are asking us to come and start new branches of Nasijona all over, because they want the same spirit. If it has not been the 2 years of lockdown with the COVID, maybe we could have been already spread, because the idea started in January 20, when we have been asked to found branches in other places. Then we stopped. Hopefully we can start again. We will start again, I'm sure.
You should, and you should. I want to ask you, a part of Nasijona, are there other organizations or initiatives that are happening in Nazareth that are trying also to preserve the Palestinian heritage and culture?
When we started, our idea started in 2014, when the old city of Nazareth was a total destruction, deserted, and the idea of Judaizing it started coming, and many properties were sold, as it happened in old cities. But when we started Nasijona from a grassroots, and the first thing when I thought we have to revive the heritage, save it, transmit it, develop it as part of our identity, as a common denominator for everybody. People, as one of the women mentioned, they thought that I was dreaming, and that was a hallucination. Who will take care of those things? Are already outdated, and they are out of work. But when we started, we found as I said, the last 4 women, 2 women who would do the tape, and 2 others will do the shuttle work. Those are the traditional heritage work that were done by the women in Galilee, not the Palestinian embroidery. And when they came and they started, they were so enthusiastic about it. And we immediately found such an enthusiasm. And we found that there is a big community, a big number of women who have talents and who have the power to work, and but they did not have the opportunity. And they felt that, they thought that those was things that were totally left, and they were useless people. So they started coming and working and producing. And now, after Nasijona, when Nasijona started producing some articles, that was the first time in many decades that a tourist can come to Nazareth and buy a souvenir made in Nazareth and not made in China and imported by a Jew, by Israeli Jew, and sold in Nazareth. So that idea struck so many young women that they started working. They discovered their talent. They found hope in that work. And some of them had courses with us, had training courses with us, and they opened shops and boutiques in the old city. And if you come now to the old city of Nazareth, there is a big part of Nazareth that it is reviving itself, And all that started after Nasijona. We gave the idea. We gave the incitement and the encouragement because they to do that. One of the young boy, a young man, he finished his school and his college. He just sent me a letter yesterday. He found that he had a training course in Nasijona in embroidery. Then now he developed his own business in new things in embroidery, and he's opening his shop in the old city of Nazareth. So we contributed and we gave the idea to save the loss of the precious old city of Nazareth that was to be Judaized and then to revive it. And that gave many, if you come one day and see to many young people a new hope to overcome and to stay here.
Some are asking, can people buy some of your products from the website?
Oh, yes. From the website, not much. We have now our website and we have the products. And they come, most of our products are sold in our center when the people pass and the groups pass and they found that authentic handwork. But we are aiming now, we work around having a more production and selling it. After all, we are just 3 to 4 years of experience. But anyone who wants, many people have orders from the United States and have ordered some, we receive orders and we sell them also, if they have special things. But whoever wants a very special, precious, handmade in a very good quality can come to us and we can produce that.
Do you have difficulties finding the supplies for the needlework?
Excuse me?
Do you have difficulties finding the supplies for the needlework or the yarns?
Difficulty to find the subsidies, you mean?
The supplies.
No, we can have them. We need the subsidies because to keep our freedom, our vision, and not to be under control, we cannot accept help from any part that can control us. We want to stay free. But not to have the supply for the needleworks and to all other works, we can have it from Nazareth. I mean, there are, and all over, they can bring it to us. The main thing is the straw, which was a little bit difficult to have, the natural straw, the natural Palestinian straw. Then finally we found somebody in the Galilee who plants the straw and all kinds of straw, and he is the one who gives the workshops of straw weaving. But for the other things, the supplies are okay.
Do you find people, or are there any groups that are challenging you or challenging your operations in Nazareth, or you seem not to be bothered by the authorities? Or
no, until now we are just working and producing and giving the opportunities for many people, young men, young women, to develop their own business. And I mean, they just take the training courses and they are guided because we have the women we have, I mean, they cannot get it, the art of doing it. It's not only the needlework, we have so many other arts also, even jewelry, even as you saw, the Arabic calligraphy. And we reported that Arabic calligraphy in many ways, even we have a production of jewels in silver jewelry with the Arabic calligraphy. we developed a series of jewelry based on the Palestinian bird, the bird of Palestine, the one who has the colors blue and green, and it's just so beautiful. And we found out that in Wikipedia they wanted to change its name from the Palestinian bird, but we preserved it, and we have that collection. So no, we don't face that challenge, but obviously there are people who just try to imitate us and to imitate our work and to make it more, I mean, not the same quality, and but anyhow, we can maintain ourselves, and we are very happy when the tourists and the pilgrims pass. We have already groups, and they hear about us, they hear about our resistance, they hear about our work as to resist. To resist for us is to exist, and to exist in a healthy way and in a joyful way, and to know that here we are steadfast, because the ideas that have been introduced in the last decade, especially for Christians, that we are not Palestinians, we are not Arabs, we do not belong here. They inverted for us even the Aramaic nationality. If you know, you heard about that. They gave the opportunity of anyone who was born as Christian to be designed as an Aramaic nationality. And so we had to make of confrontation of those things in a very authentic, peaceful, and nice way.
You've mentioned women and you've mentioned children. Do men also play a role in Nasijona?
Very much, yes. I told you about the cultural events that Fatin is in charge of. She's the coordinator. We have at least twice a month, every 2 weeks, a cultural event. We had book launches for many authors, for many poets. We had sessions with the musicians all around. We have sessions with archaeologists, Palestinian archaeologists, who are working in, as you know, the archaeology digging inside the 48 inside Israel is meant also only to show the Jewish origin and Jewish. So we had sessions with them. We had even tours with them to show our presence. So in those events, men are very much present. In our board, we are half women, half men. And I mean, the men has a very big presence. We have the course of documentation of I told you, of the oral history. It is done, mostly of them are men. We had a course of documentation of photography. It is very important they went to the old city and to have a photography of documentation of very old stones and to go back to their origin. That was a very nice course that we are intending to do again. I mean, everybody is involved, even religious people, even bishops, even from all religions and sheikhs, from all denominations and all religions. And as I will tell you, we have been defined as a social organization, a public organization. We received the recognition from the income tax that whoever gives us any money, any donation for Nasijona, it is recognized by the income tax, and it is reduced from the income tax. And we have been recognized also by the Vatican and other churches that we are doing a pastoral work that no church can work, because the church does its work for one church, for one community. But the work we are doing in bringing love and understanding together, we have been recognized by our bishops here that we are doing a pastoral and church work for the local Christian, for the local community.
Is there a possibility for people who are mainly internationals who would like to come and volunteer at Nasijona? Do you have such programs?
Until now, no, but next week, the MCC is sending us a volunteer, a young lady, a young girl volunteering for the first time. And we are looking forward to receive her and to give her a place. I think she was supposed to be at the beginning, first week of September. And we are very much enthusiastic to have her and then to have more people with us. I have to confess and let everybody know that the place that has been given to us by the Sisters of Nazareth, and that was, the idea came when I was thinking about having a social center that will bring back all the community, all the different categories and different backgrounds and different religious affiliations together to be one community. And I was dreaming that we need such a place, a social place for everybody, that everybody will feel at home and everybody will accept each other. But I never thought that it was me who could do that, until that woman came to the pharmacy and she gave me the idea of this. And one day I was going out of the church, the Annunciation Church, the Sisters of Nazareth greeted me, and she asked me if I had any idea that would help the Society of Nazareth, because they were realizing that there was a need to do something to help the Society of Nazareth. And she said that they will have a vacant place that used to be a school for handicapped children, and that place will be vacant in 1 year. I gave them that idea, and they immediately offered the place, and they told me if I can start that job, because they realized that it is a very important project for Nazareth. And in fact, even the Patriarch, when he visited us, he said, for me, this is the most important project in Nazareth. And we started, and thanks to them, we shaped our work according to the place, which is centered at the very, in front of the center of Nazareth, and accessible to everybody by car. But now the property has been given to another organization who came from India and who are totally strangers to the community, who don't feel the need of the local church, and they want to take the place from us, and we are looking for another place. So I ask you to pray for us that we can find another place. We don't want to interrupt our work.
So you are in the process of looking for a new place.
Yes.
When you have to move from your current location?
You know that they came from abroad, they don't know anything. They have no connection with the land, no connection with the people. And unfortunately, it's a kind of just another time we are seen as the local community. We become a story about which they talk, but nobody gives us the real value. And we maintain our work is there to evaluate the presence of the local community.
So do you know it's until when are you at your current location? Do you have like a deadline?
Well, they gave us until February, end of February 2023. and the time flies, and Nazareth is not an easy place. Nazareth is, as you know, so crowded, and we have no facilities, and we need a place that can be accessible to everybody, because we also work not only with elderly women and children, but we also have special works and special trainings for handicapped, those who are mentally or emotionally problems, especially young girls who lived in institutions. And at the age of 21, they were set free to their family, and they live closed in a family. They have no connection with the outside world. They have nothing to do. So we have young women between the age of 24, 28, 30, 35, that they come. We have special trainers for them. And through art, traditional art and embroidery, we discovered that they have so many other talents, and above all, that gave them the opportunity, excuse me, I feel very emotional when I talk about that, the opportunity to be reintegrated in the society. Their feedbacks are so beautiful that we give them the opportunity to feel that they are part of the society and they can give a lot. And you can feel the stories. Some of them discovered that they have other talents, but they started with us because we accepted them as part of the society. And because when they were to the institutions or to the special schools, they have been used to go with a stigma. They are different people. But when they come to Nasijona, they are one of those people, and they are accepted, and they are make part of it. It's a reintegration of the society. So we need a place that we can continue also this mission with them.
Thank you very much.
But we hope that we can find, because I think that our work has been an inspiration. We followed the inspiration that has been gained and the opportunities, and I think that I keep faith that God will provide us with something else.
Thank you very much. We're running out of time, unfortunately, but I have one more question. You are an inspiration to many people around the world, but also especially in Nazareth. When you were a little girl in Nazareth, who has inspired you? When you were a little girl in Nazareth, who was your inspirational from, who was a strong woman in the community at that time?
My inspiration was exactly my father and my mother. And maybe I had the chance to go to a school where also I had a very nice sister. She was a sister of St. Joseph. But my father, I recognize that I was lucky to be in that family. My father, who was originally from Haifa, and all his family, but they came to Nazareth because of during World War II, and that's why we were born in Nazareth. But my mother is from Nazareth. And my father was a very strong man, believing in God and straight man. And that's why he also had no problem in sending me to Rome to study at the age of 20 in the early 60s, in 1960. Nobody used to travel even, and it was, so my strength comes from God, my family, and our belief and our faith.
Thank you very much, Auntie Violette. It was great having you with us. Unfortunately, time is out, but we will be next week in another Kumi session where we will address the topic of education in Palestine and Israel. So we hope that you will join us next week. Again, thank you very much, Auntie Violette. Keep up doing the good work. We will remember you with our prayers, you personally, but also everybody who is part of Nasijona. with hopes that you will find a new location, a suitable location, better a better place than you are even at.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity, for the work you do, and for Sabil. My first place and my home is Sabil also, you know that, how related I am to it. And
We're sure.
Greetings to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all. And there's an important lesson from this today. It's if we are naive enough to dream, our dreams might come true and will come true. Thank you for a proof of this, Auntie Violette. I mean, not only with Nasijona, but through the different parts of your life. Bless you all and hope to see you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.